Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian Donnelly. The Spirits Educator is a digital education platform and trade resource for the distilled spirits industry. My aim is to provide in-depth spirits information, brand transparency, and category education for distributor sales teams, service industry and hospitality members, and motivated enthusiasts. I currently work for a major wine and spirits distributor, but my work here on the Spirits Educator is completely unaffiliated with my current employer. Today I'm going to do another video about Heaven's Door whiskey, which is the partner whiskey with Bob Dylan. I previously made a video about Heaven's Door whiskey, but the brand has made some changes recently. They've updated the blend that goes into each of their products, as well as the packaging. So I'm going to talk through the new products. I'm going to taste through the updated blend for their Core 3, which is their Tennessee Bourbon, their Double Barrel, and their Rye. And then I'm also going to talk about a new permanent line extension that came out within the last year. If you would like to watch the video I made covering the old products, I'll leave a link below in the description. The product I'm going to be tasting today comes in what they call the Trilogy Pack. So I have it right here. So the Trilogy Pack comes with 3 200 milliliter bottles for their Core 3. So the Core 3 is the Revival, which is the new name for the Tennessee Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Then there's the Revelation, which is the new name for the Double Barrel Whiskey. Then there's the Refuge, which is their new rye whiskey. I was told by an employee of the brand that one of the reasons the brand updated their blends and updated their packaging and made some changes is because the original rye whiskey was finished in French oak, sourced from the Vosges Mountains in eastern France. And the cooperage that produced those Vosges French oak cigar barrels that made that product so unique and honestly made that product so good, that cooperage no longer makes barrels for the Heaven's Door brand. So they had to change the rye. And if I had to assume, they just decided to change everything. So I'll taste through. Again, this is called the Trilogy Pack. So 3 200 ml bottles. I think it's a great deal. And so you should be on the lookout for this in your local liquor store if you're a fan of the Heaven's Door brand. These are honestly a great deal if you can find them. So I'm going to check my pricing. Keep in mind my pricing is relevant for Oklahoma. Every single state's different. Every single market's different. So check your local liquor store for pricing. But these probably run between $39 and $43. So pretty good value to get a 200 ml of 3 different whiskeys for this price point is a great deal and allows you to be able to sample these 3 products without having to commit to the full $750. So if you can find the Trilogy Packs, I definitely recommend you buy them. I normally don't care too much about celebrity endorsed or celebrity partnered products, but with Bob Dylan being Bob Dylan, this brand seems to resonate with a lot of people. The Heaven's Door brand is a brand I'm very familiar with. Located in Tulsa is the Bob Dylan Center, which I believe is the largest collection of Bob Dylan items. And it was completely fan-funded. It's located in downtown Tulsa. If you're ever in Tulsa, I highly recommend checking out the Bob Dylan Center. It's a much more extensive center than you might expect. There's a lot to see. It's definitely worth the time. I'll include a link below in the description. The first product is the Revival Tennessee Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So that is not Tennessee whiskey, that is bourbon sourced from the state of Tennessee. So, because I have the Trilogy Pack, this is a 200 ml bottle, but the packaging looks the exact same. And if you're unfamiliar, the logos are all designed after iron gates that Bob Dylan creates and sells to celebrities. Here's what the side looks like. And embossing on the back. And these are exact scaled down replicas of what the normal 750 bottle would look like. And just for comparison, here's what the old packaging for the old blend looked like. Straight bourbon, the iron gate designs. Still got the embossed etched glass. So, the old product with this kind of red label was called Tennessee Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And the new product with the red logo up here is called Revival Tennessee Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Let's see, the old product was bottled at 92 proof or 46 ABV, and this product is also 92 proof or 46 ABV. All right, so I'm going to read a description of this product from the brand. Heaven's Door Tennessee Straight Bourbon Whiskey is distilled and aged for a minimum of 5 years in new American oak barrels. The sour mash distillation process and non-chill filtered bottling allows this mature whiskey to remain constant, as well as create reliable flavor profiles that come from being aged in a single-story warehouse. And this product is bottled at 92 proof or 46% ABV. This product still comes from the state of Tennessee. I believe originally they were using contract distillate from Dickel, but I believe they have moved their contract to the Tennessee Distilling Group. So I believe the Tennessee Distilling Group, which many people consider kind of the MGP of Tennessee, is the person that is distilling the bourbon in the state of Tennessee for Heaven's Door. For those of you that are fans of the brand, you might know that Heaven's Door opened up their own distillery in Kentucky, where they're obviously distilling Kentucky bourbon. All right. I got a fresh bottle here. Let's find out. I'm going to read through the tasting notes for this product provided by the brand. All right, the nose is baked bread, dried fruit, buttered popcorn with a smooth, lasting finish of caramel, cinnamon, and nutmeg. That does have a nice nose. All right, the palate is honey, light maple, pumpernickel, white peppercorn, and baking spices, vanilla layered over a bed of toasted oak. And the finish is smooth and lasting finish of caramel, cinnamon, and nutmeg. That's really nice on the palate. That's much better than I remember it. There's a lot of complexity, multiple layers of flavor. I definitely think a lot of the flavors that are described in the tasting notes you could find on here. That's got a nice strong finish. Okay, let's see where this stacks up price-wise. So, Tennessee Bourbon. Keep in mind, I'm quoting pricing here in Oklahoma. You could find this retail for between $44 and $48. So mid-40s, mid to high 40s. There's a lot of competition for this price point, but I think if you paid mid-40s for this, it would definitely be worth it. The next product is the Revelation Double Barrel Whiskey, and I'm going to read a description from the brand. Heaven's Door Double Barrel Whiskey is comprised of a unique blend of 2 different straight bourbons and 1 rye. Each one is aged independently in new oak barrels for a minimum of 5 years before being blended and aged an additional 6 to 12 months in custom-made 59-gallon American oak barrels that are air-dried for 24 months before being heavily toasted. So, here's my tiny little bottle of the double barrel. So here's what the new packaging looks like. And just for comparison, here's what the old double barrel looked like. Double barrel, you have the same gate iron artwork. Here's the side label. Let's see if this will autofocus. There's the side label. So you can see what used to be blue, or whatever color was associated with the old label. They've switched to coloring the background of the gate. So I don't know if this shows up on camera, but the background of the logo of the iron gate design is blue. All right, let's open a new bottle of this. I'm going to read the tasting notes for this product from the brand. All right. The nose is maple with milled grains and a light nuttiness, dried berries, vanilla custard, and toasted oak. I feel like this has a slightly more subtle nose than the last one. There's definitely good flavors. It's just a little more subtle. All right, the palate is caramel, dough, dark cherry, Meyer lemon, dry oak, vanilla bean, dried apricot, coconut backed by orange oil, and cocoa with woody overtones. Oh, that's good. That's really good. There's a lot going on there. And it says the finish is bold and complex with lasting caramel finish. I would say bold and complex. You can definitely tell there's a lot of layers of flavor, and they all blend pretty seamlessly. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, this product is bottled at 100 proof or 50% ABV, but the alcohol is very well integrated. Let's check my pricing. So the double barrel is line price with the Tennessee bourbon. So this should retail, at least in Oklahoma, somewhere between 44 and 48. Yeah, I think mid 40s, even high 40s, this product is definitely worth it. And the last product in the core 3 of the Trilogy Pack is the Refuge, which is a straight rye finished in Amontillado sherry casks. I'm going to read a description from the brand. Refuge straight rye whiskey is aged for 6 to 8 years, blended to ensure consistent maturity has been reached, then finished in Amontillado sherry casks, boasting a sweet, fruity characteristic that is distinctively rich and refined, with notes of dried fruits and a delicate, spicy finish. Amontillado sherry is a drier aperitif which complements our 100% rye mash with notes of leather, nutmeg, and tobacco. The finish is a delicate process as the rye has already aged over 6 years and reached the desired extraction of oak. Typically, we finish for up to 6 months. However, weather and seasons play a momentous role in aging and extraction, keeping our blenders on their toes and constantly curating our spirits. So, here's the new rye. Here's what the label looks like. And just to compare that, here's a bottle of the old rye. And this was finished in French oak Vosges cigar barrels. So this one was green. And this really doesn't show up on camera, but it's a very, very, very dark green. All right, I'm going to read through the tasting notes provided by the brand. All right, it says the nose is rich and complex with notes of dark fruit, oak, and spice. The sherry cask finish adds a layer of sweetness and depth to our whiskey, creating a nose that is both fruity and spicy. Oh yeah, you can smell that sherry immediately. You can find a little spiciness, but it's definitely hidden under that sherry. But the sherry is, I mean, it's not aggressive. It's still relatively subtle. I shouldn't say subtle. I should say maybe well integrated, because it's definitely there. I mean, there's no question to ask. You smell this, and it's sherry cask finish. All right, let's taste it. The palate is described as our rye whiskey's characteristic spiciness is balanced by the Amontillado sherry cask sweetness and fruitiness. The palate features flavors of dried fruit, honey, caramel, vanilla, as well as a warming, spicy kick. Oh, that's really nice. I would say it definitely leads more rye forward, and then that kind of sherry finish comes in the second wave on the palate, and it finishes much stronger than it starts with the sherry finish. And the rye and sherry, that kind of sweet spicy balance that I know they're going for, is really well integrated. Oh yeah, let's see what the finish is. The finish is described as long and satisfying, with notes of oak, spice, and fruit lingering on the tongue. I would definitely say that's the case. The Amontillado Sherry Casks finish adds a tender, loving sweetness of the 6-month finish in Amontillado Sherry Cask. That's got a really nice finish. I don't think it's quite as long as the double barrel, but it's definitely longer than the Tennessee Bourbon. That's really nice. A lot of sherry, my problem with a lot of sherry cask finish whiskey is it just ends up being a sherry bomb. You know, it just ends up being all sherry, and you can't even taste the base whiskey that they're using. And this definitely isn't the case. There's a good rye flavor, and I think they've definitely done a good job of that, balancing that spicy rye with the sweetness from the sherry in a way that's done really well. This product is bottled at 92 proof or 46% ABV. And let's check my pricing. So the rye is more expensive. So the Tennessee Bourbon and Double Barrel are line price, at least here in Oklahoma. And the rye will retail somewhere between $63 and $69. So this product's good, really tasty. Is it worth 60, mid-60s? I don't think so. I mean, if I want to be really critical, I think when you start paying above 50, especially into the 60s, you get to be really, really picky. And because there's so many incredible options, you really can demand a lot from your whiskey. This whiskey is super tasty. I think it's very enjoyable. I think if you can afford a whiskey in the $60 price range, you should definitely buy this. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. But I think there are other whiskeys that drink this well, if not better, for under $60, maybe even under $50. Again, $60 for American rye whiskey, even American rye whiskey that has been finished in a second barrel, that can be a little expensive for most whiskey drinkers. And so, you know, is this product worth it? I think that part is kind of up to you. I think if you have no problem dropping $60, $70 on a bottle of whiskey and you like rye whiskey or you like sherry cask finished whiskey, then this product's a no-brainer. You should definitely buy it. But, you know, if you're on the fence, maybe not. Now, if you have the opportunity to buy a Trilogy Pack and you get a chance to get a 200 milliliter bottle of this, as well as trying the Double Barrel and the Tennessee Bourbon, all for, let's see, what was my pricing on this? $39 to $43, somewhere in that range. I think that is definitely worth it. I think that's definitely what you do. You see if you can find the Trilogy Packs. The Trilogy Packs are usually not allocated, and you should be able to consistently find them. And I think that is where you get the best bang for your buck deal on being able to try these 3 products. Then you can determine for yourself if that particular flavor profile is worth the money to you. I'm going to talk about one more product that I don't have here to taste, but it's the newest line extension from the brand. So that product is called the Heaven's Door Ascension. I'll put a picture up on the screen. So that's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and I'm going to read a description from the brand. Heaven's Door introduces its inaugural Kentucky straight bourbon, a remarkable blend that showcases the expertise of our distillery with one bourbon coming directly from our own production. Non-chill filtered and meticulously crafted and aged to perfection, each small batch comprised of no more than 10 barrels ensures the perfect balance of flavors in each bottle. And the tasting note starts with a nose of baked bread, buttered popcorn, and dried fruit. The palate is a rich and complex flavor profile, balanced sweetness with notes of caramel and vanilla, and spicy undertones such as cinnamon, nutmeg, and black pepper. And the finish is a smooth mouthfeel with a long and warm finish. This year I was actually supposed to go out to Kentucky with Heaven's Door and tour the new distillery. Unfortunately, that trip got canceled last minute, so I've yet to go visit the new facility. I'll leave a link below in the description to their website so you can see the new distillery. It looks really, really cool. And so this new line extension is the reason for that is to showcase their new distillery and showcase their own Kentucky bourbon that they've distilled themselves. So let's look at the pricing here in Oklahoma for the Ascension. So the Ascension is going to be line price with the Tennessee Bourbon and the Double Barrel. So you're looking at somewhere retail price of $44 to $48. I'm just going to show you the back of this. This was the tech sheet that I was reading off that the brand provided for me. Thank you so much again for watching. Say what you want about celebrity partnered products. I think the Heaven's Door brand has good enough whiskey, good enough juice that it can stand on its own with or without the kind of Bob Dylan tie-in. You know, Bob Dylan, I understand that Bob Dylan is a different type of celebrity, and, you know, he's not like The Rock. You know, Bob Dylan is a celebrity that spans so many decades and so many different generations in age groups and demographics. You know, his music really speaks to so many people. I think actually this new Bob Dylan movie coming out with Timothée Chalamet, I think will spark new interest in the brand. Regardless of, you know, if you like Bob Dylan's music or you care about Bob Dylan as a person at all, I think this brand is a good brand. And I think the whiskey that they release genuinely is worth the money. I think you can enjoy this brand and enjoy their whiskey whether you care about Bob Dylan's music or not. Again, I think the Tennessee Bourbon and the Double Barrel are definitely worth the money. The rye is a little expensive, but if you can afford it, I think it's really tasty and could be potentially worth the money. But again, I'm sorry, Ascension is the only product I don't have here with me. I really wanted to highlight the Trilogy Packs because I think they're so cool and offer so much value for the customer. So if you see a Trilogy Pack in the market, definitely go buy one. And I wanted to be able to show the new bottles versus the old bottles. Now, a more nuanced and interesting tasting might be comparing the old blends with the new blends and seeing how different the flavor profiles are. My guess is they're probably pretty subtle differences. But, you know, I've been drinking the Heaven's Door brand for many years, and it's a brand I'm very familiar with. Again, with this Bob Dylan Center connection here in Tulsa, the brand has had a lot of relevancy here in Tulsa. And I think the new juice, the new blends with the new packaging, I think they're, if my memory is correct, I think they're noticeably better than the old packaging, the old blends. So if you see a new Heaven's Door bottle, the new labels, just know that there has been an update to the blend, to the juice that goes, the whiskey that goes inside the bottle. And if you were unimpressed the last time you had Heaven's Door, I highly recommend you give the brand another chance. And that is why I wanted to highlight the Trilogy Packs, because I think they offer a lot of value, and you can get 3 different products for the price of essentially, you know, the price of one. So, thank you so much again for watching. Hopefully you found this video informative and enjoyable. Please give it a like and consider subscribing. If you'd like to be notified whenever I have new content on my website or this YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to my email newsletter. I'll leave a link below in the description. And if you'd like to support this channel further, please consider becoming a Patreon member or gift me a cocktail through the link below in the description. And as always, please drink responsibly.